Hey, Exchange Kids! Hey, it's Miss Liz here. Fancy seeing you out here today. I was just going on my little run. Gorgeous day out, had to take advantage of that. And to be honest, I'm a little tired. In fact, I'm really thirsty. I need to take a quick drink of water, excuse me. Woo! Woo! Thanks. I really needed that. I was feeling so parched and thirsty. That reminds me, actually. Exchange Kids, have you ever been really thirsty before? Maybe you were on a long car trip and you forgot your water bottle, or maybe you were chasing some friends across the playground and all of a sudden you stopped and realized, oh, I'm really tired and thirsty. I could use a big drink of water, a big cup of lemonade, something like that. Well, that's actually something that we're going to talk about today. Thirst and getting filled up. But not thirsty for a drink and getting filled up by water, but rather being thirsty for God and His love and presence and getting filled up by that instead. Let me show you an example of what I mean. So this right here, this cup, imagine that this is you. And this pitcher of water is God, full of His love and presence. And just like this pitcher is doing to this cup, God loves to fill us up. All the way up, woo! With that love and presence, so much so that sometimes it even overflows out of us and into other containers or people. Pretty cool. And the cool thing about God is that He is never going anywhere. He's always staying right there ready to pour into us, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. Isn't that amazing? Now, sometimes, Exchange Kids, we don't just feel thirsty, sometimes we feel a little bit empty. And what I mean by that is sometimes we don't sense God's presence or God's love in our life. Maybe we're feeling a little bit sad or just not quite sure what's going on, but we don't sense that love of God. We don't sense Him in our cup here. And I want you to know that it's okay if you feel that way sometimes, and that your adults or parents or family members, they sometimes feel that way. I felt that way sometimes. And even people in the Bible felt that way. In fact, King David, you might have heard of him. He's a famous one. He was a really famous king and also a warrior from the Bible. And he even wrote some of the books in the Old Testament. He would talk about this all the time, how he was thirsting and longing for God's love and presence and how he didn't always feel it. Let me give you an example. In Psalm 63:1, King David writes this: "O God, you are my God, and I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh longs and yearns for you in a dry and weary land where there is no water." Here, King David is saying that he is longing and thirsting for God's love and presence. He doesn't feel it, but he wants it. It's like he's a man walking across a desert, thirsty for God's love. Wow. Now, Exchange Kids, even when we feel like that, similar to King David, like I mentioned, it's okay for you to feel that way because I promise you, God is always there, loving us, waiting to come and fill us up. But sometimes what happens is that we're the ones that have moved away from God. Let me give you an example. So let's say this is God here, He's our pitcher, and He's there, always waiting for us, wanting to fill us up. But rather than us being really close to God and getting near to Him, we get distracted and we start moving around and we move away from God. Maybe something at school or with our friends has gotten us distracted, or maybe we haven't been reading our Bible, or we haven't been praying and talking to God about our days, but our cup has moved away from God. It hasn't been God that moved away from us. So when that happens, there are a lot of things that we can do. The good news is, like I said, God's always there, loving us, waiting for us to come back to Him. So what's important for us to do is to get close to God again so that He can fill us up. So for me, Remember I mentioned I sometimes have felt thirsty for God or empty. Something that really helps me bring my cup closer to God is music. I love music so much, and I love worship music. It's in worship music that I feel really connected to God. I close my eyes and sometimes I sing along all about God's love and how He's good to me and how much I love Him. And that helps me bring my cup closer to God. And I feel God's love, and I feel God's presence pouring into me and overflowing, and I'm right there next to Him again. So Exchange kids, I want you to know, in conclusion, God's love and presence is always there, ready and excited to fill you up. And my prayer for you is that you always get thirsty for God, that you keep your cup close to Him, and that He will be there to love you and fill you, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what. All the way up. Woo! Okay, Exchange kids, I actually gotta go. I gotta go finish my walk, really, my run. But thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye!